Hello YouTubers, coming up on Yasmine's cooking show. Today we are making the best peanut butter and creme caramel, which is a classic French dessert. But before we get to work, I want to tell you about the best fat, the best peanut butter, and the type of sugar that makes a great chewy, nutty peanut butter cookie. I love baking. It's my therapy. It's in a class all by itself. It's chemistry in the kitchen. I'm Yasmine. Welcome to my channel. Let's get started. When it comes to baking, butter is your best friend. Let me tell you why. Particularly in this recipe, do not substitute margarine, Crisco, or peanut oil for the butter. Butter in peanut butter cookies intensifies the peanut flavor, whereas other fats actually reduce the peanut flavor and will make your cookie sandy-like, okay? So do not substitute butter for anything else. Second thing, let's talk about the sugar. Sugar plays a major role in chewiness, okay? In this recipe, we're going to use both white and brown sugar. Now, if you are trying to cut back on your sugar intake, if you're on a diet, I love you for it. Just have one cookie and go burn it off. Do not have 5 or 10. Now, I'm a very health conscious cook, or eater, I should say. I portion control, I exercise, I lift weights, I do cardio, I do yoga. And that means if I want to have a cupcake or a cookie here and there, I do it. So to me, food is meant to be enjoyed, okay? And having said that, there are some recipes that just need to be left alone. Let's move on. Let's talk about the main ingredient, the peanut butter itself. Commercial brands are the best. The extra crunchy by Jif particularly. Now, natural peanut butters normally have a layer of oil on top, or not the best choice, because just like the peanut oil, they will make your cookie very grainy and very sandy at the end. So our 4 main ingredients are butter, white and brown sugar, and the extra crunchy peanut butter by Jif. Let's get started. To begin, adjust your oven rack to a low position and heat the oven to 350 degrees. Here is our mise en place for our peanut butter almond cookies. This recipe will make about 12.5 cookies. We have here 1 1/4 cup of AP flour, or all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 stick of butter, and we want it at room temperature because soft butter is easier to whip. Next, we have 1/2 cup of dark brown sugar, 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. And by the way, the word granulated comes from the Latin word granum, which means grain or seed, and it's simply sugar with the molasses stripped out of it. Let's continue. Next, over here we have 1/2 cup of extra crunchy peanut butter, and the brand we're using is Jif. 1 large egg at room temperature, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 tablespoons of almonds, and lastly we have here a half a cup of roasted salted peanuts, and we're going to grind them, the almonds and the peanuts, in our spice grinder until they look like breadcrumbs. So here we go. Next, we'll sift the flour, baking soda, baking powder, and the salt together. To our electric mixer, let's beat the butter until fluffy. Then we'll add both sugars, white and brown, until fluffy for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then we'll stop to scrape the bowl from time to time. Next, let's beat in the extra crunchy peanut butter until well mixed. Then the egg, the vanilla, the flour, and our ground peanuts and almonds will follow. And after our dough is done, it's going to chill in the fridge for 30 minutes. Working with a mini scooper, let's roll and place each dough 2 inches apart on a sheet pan lined with parchment paper. For a crisscross design, press each cookie twice with the back of a fork dipped in ice cold water in between each cookie. This will avoid stickiness. Then we'll bake them until they are puffed and slightly brown for about 10 to 12 minutes. Our cookies are done. We're going to let them rest for 5 minutes and then transfer them on a wire rack to cool. Now, they will stay fresh in a cookie jar in the fridge for up to 7 days. Et voila, the best chewy peanut butter almond cookie. Next, let's make the classic French dessert, la crème caramel.